Hey, and welcome to the Drep and Stone podcast, the podcast where two friends raise a glass and have a conversation. I'm Nick.
I'm Kyle.
Kyle.
Sir?
You know, occasionally we get those opportunities where we get to talk to cool people.
Yeah, where it's not just two friends.
Nope.
Maybe we can make it three.
Today, Kyle, is one of those episodes.
Yeah, it is.
We are joined by the man himself, the admin, the head decision maker of the Lakeland Whiskey Society, LJ. LJ, how are you?
I am doing great. Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
It's been a long time coming.
I know. It seems like you guys have been very active in the group, and it's crazy how this is the first time we're actually all meeting in the same room together.
Yeah.
So
Like we've met in outside location.
correct.
We've been to a couple of events and ran across each other.
Ran over.
Ran over each other.
Yeah.
Ran into each other there, and we kind of talked about let's do an episode at some point. It's always been one of those like, yeah, let's do it, and then we're making it happen.
Yeah, bourbon barbecue. I think is when
I think that was the first time
you
that we
saw-
actually.
I guess you saw me at a FAR from Pig Fest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, there.
You should have said, "Hey, come try this meat I'm smoking." I'm like, "Hell yeah!"
What was I doing? I think I was volunteering. I was serving. What was I? I think I was serving beer.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I missed that. Seeing you serve.
Oh,
Man.
oh, listen, I
would've
am
been-
I am the consummate professional.
I'm sure.
Like, you want a beer? You want a beer?
I got you.
Yeah. What's the movie where is it Michael Keaton's like beer, scotch? What is that one?
Oh, it is
You know
Michael
what?
Keaton.
I don't
Mr.
remember.
Mom or something
Maybe.
like that.
That's a beer.
It's 10 o'clock in the morning. Oh, scotch?
Yeah. So that's you were volunteering there too, right?
We were. My wife and I were running ice and beverages to all those tents that you probably were serving at.
Yeah.
On the radio, hey, we need some Natty Light over here. It's like, okay. That was the one thing that blew my mind, is that Natty Light was the same price as like some of the premium type beers, and people were still going through those. I mean, that's
Right.
Polk County for you.
Yeah. I mean, hey, drink what you like.
Yeah.
Like what you like.
But like what you like. But yeah, your dollar beer should probably actually be $1 and not the same prices.
Yeah.
LJ, we want to take a quick second before we get to some of the pours that you brought, and we just want to say on behalf of Drep and Stone and the Drep and Stone listeners, thank you so much for allowing us to be part of the Lakeland Whiskey Society. It's truly an honor.
I appreciate you guys posting and being active, and also bringing activity and followers to our group. So that's also very important. I mean, anybody that wants to be involved and be active and share things and show up to things, more than happy to support that. So
yeah, I think our perspective is there's so many very serious things around whiskey that we also try to be just have fun with it, and I think that's well received by Lakeland Whiskey Society, and it's so fun to see how people just interact with, like, you guys are doing what? You're trying whiskey with Vienna sausages? And like, it's so fun. And I know that we both love how the society as a whole just like, yeah, that's cool. Do you guys do your thing?
yeah.
Yeah, it's fun just to be a part of a local
Absolutely.
whiskey society, so that you can kind of nerd out with other fans and enthusiasts in a local setting. You really can't beat it.
And I'm sure like you go out somewhere and people are like, hey, it's the guy. Like that's fun too.
It's not like that.
It gets old. It gets old quick.
Yeah, no, it's not really like that. It's always nice to see people in the group and meet people in the group that I've, maybe seen their little, pin-sized face because they're
Right.
posting or commenting. But when they, show up to an event, or I go somewhere and I happen to bump into them, or I'm maybe wearing one of the shirts or hats that we've made, and they, they mention it, it's always a cool feeling to know, like, oh, okay, like you're a part of the same thing I'm a part of, and you kind of have the same mission and goals, and obviously hobbies that I have as well. So one of the biggest things, and I'm sure you guys either can agree or feel slightly, is, when you become, I'm a 38-year-old male, and I moved away from Tampa, where I was from. All my buddies are out there, making friends, as, it's not as easy unless, I don't have kids yet, but, you meet someone else's kid's father and you guys are, oh yeah, come over and, we'll shoot the shit. But yeah, I think this kind of brings people together that maybe would have never thought to step outside that box and hang out. So
For sure. And I think that's something that we're becoming even more interested in, is the community behind whiskey. I mean, it's shared interest, and it's a way to bring people together. I mean, if everyone wants to just go, house a bunch of shots. Cool. Like that, do you, but I think that's what at least whiskey societies like Lakeland Whiskey and others are. Yes, this is the thing that's bringing us together, but it's so much more than that.
Yeah, and it's one of the few positives of social media.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a very small list, but it is absolutely on that list.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So before we get into the genesis of Lakeland Whiskey and some of that kind of stuff, you have brought for us some things in some bottles, a liquid in bottles.
I have, and I just felt like it wouldn't be a conversation about Lakeland Whiskey Society without bringing some of our barrel picks. And I know you guys recently tried our Fiddler ASW Toasted not too long ago, so I decided to bring 2 of our rare character barrel picks that we did. One's a rye, one's a bourbon, and then I also brought our Starlight bourbon that was finished in blueberry port, which is unique. It was the first of that finish from Starlight to be sold in the state of Florida. So we were excited about that, and we actually got to go there and handpick that barrel ourselves. So,
I definitely want to hear more about that too.
yeah, so that's a fun one.
So what are we going to start with?
I think we'll start with, I love to say it's the award-winning Grapevine, Lakeland, and Lakeland Whiskey Society TKO rare character with the white swan. Shout out to Corey Reeves. He actually photographed this work of art, on our bottle. That's
a swan in Lakeland.
Correct. Yeah, this is right off Lake Morton.
Yeah,
so
very cool.
Reached out to him. I said, listen, I like your pictures. I can't offer you any money, but I want to take your swan photo, and it'll be on about 100 and something bottles of bourbon. What do you think? And he's like, absolutely. So we've become friends, and he's a member, and he's come to events and taken photographs for us, and we got to use him again with the black swan. I thought it was the perfect, back and forth. So,
synergy.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So this one's super cool. It's delicious. It's probably, and I'm, obviously sounds biased, but it's probably my favorite rye that I own and I've had. We were fortunate enough that it won Best Cask Strength Rye at the International Whiskey Festival.
Wow.
International Whiskey Competition, I apologize. And it won second place for Best Rye.
Wow.
So
crazy.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That's awesome.
And I found it out through social media, and I wasn't even alerted to it. So I thought that I was like, oh, okay, wow, look at that.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know it won.
Mm-mm. At that point, we didn't even have the bottles yet.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Insane.
The barrel was still on the way.
Nice grab.
That's crazy.
Yeah, super crazy.
So then you're like, okay, let's
go and bring
all
this
that.
on in.
Yeah. So
exactly.
I hadn't tried it since we tasted it and picked it. So I was like, man, I mean, it was good, I guess. And then when we got it, I think it was better than when I tried it. So
Wow.
But yeah, I think we could start with.
We do know what we're doing.
Start with that one. I can talk a little bit about these TKOs. They're really sought over.
Can we open it first and then while we just have it? Can
absolutely.
we do that?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Do it.
Oh, that was a heavy pour. Sorry.
Oh, bummer.
Do you get to pick the wax color?
No, the wax correlates with the barrel code here. So the TKO. So TKOs were this pink. The KOA, which is one we'll get into a little later, is the maroon. So they kind of do stuff like that. There are, sometimes people that I think might request them. I have seen different colors.
Yeah.
But for me, I was happy with what we had.
So now that we've got it in the glass, tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah. So 8 year, 2 months, 128.44 proof.
Wow.
So with these TKOs, they were distilled in Tennessee, but aged in Kentucky.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it drinks like a burr rye blend. 70-25-5.
Okay. Getting some rye. It should be rye.
Heavy rye.
Heavy rye.
And then the Kentucky warehouse where this rye spent its entire life is an old famous warehouse, which has housed and produced some of the best whiskey on the market from the past years. Kind of have to use your imagination and figure that one out.
Oh, that smells fantastic.
Yeah, we some of the guys in LWS, we refer to that one as the handy killer. It's just it's good. We're really lucky with that one.
Yeah. What was the proof again?
128.
128.
Yeah. Wow.
We're kind of starting off with a little bit of bang.
Well,
TKO.
there you go. There it is. Starting with a rye, starting with a banger of a rye, 128 proof all day. Oh,
yeah, that's pretty.
You get through your nose all the way in it.
Yeah,
not at first.
I know you guys mentioned, you could distinctly smell the rye on the ASW Fiddler, but this one is like a rye punch in the face.
Yeah,
like this is. And
it's that really complex rye too. Of it doesn't lean super cinnamony, it doesn't lean super piney. It's that like just really depth of a mix of both.
Yeah, a lot of sweet.
Yeah,
I get like milk chocolate.
Yeah, like malted.
Yeah,
malted, like almost like malt.
A hooper.
A hooper. Oh man, I could go for a hooper. Can you eat just one hooper?
I can.
You
I could pass on that one.
don't like Whoppers?
They're fine.
Like this is a whiskey that, man, I could just. I mean, I'm definitely gonna drink it, but I could just nose all day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know the proof's there, but it's not. It's not an uppercut.
No.
It's not like lights out done.
It's not an uppercut, but I feel like on the nose you can tell like this is going to be rich and like decadent.
All right, shall we?
Okay.
All right. I know you've already done it. It's
Sorry,
okay.
it's hard.
No,
I
it's,
know.
it's hard.
It's hard when this one's in my hand.
Yeah, I know. How many bottles you got left?
I'd say 3.5.
Not enough is the answer.
Yeah, I know. This was one I wish I could have had a couple cases of. This was really special and something really cool to bring to Lakeland.
Hey, I found the proof.
It's a good heat though.
It is.
It's not too doesn't hit you that bad.
Yeah, I don't think you have to fight it. It's not like an overwhelming proof. It settles in nicely like with the flavor volume. It's not like so spicy hot or anything that you're kind of trying to push back that to find everything. Like it just sits and balances it all really well. Very desserty.
Very desserty, but then there's this like fresh cracked pepper on the very back end, and the finish is just incredible.
Yeah, that's good.
Do you guys get bubble gum at all?
Bubblegum.
Some people get bubble gum on these.
Bubblegum is interesting.
I have had a couple of these TKOs, and I've never gotten that, but a lot of people say you get bubble gum. So
Like straight up like Hubba Bubba?
yeah, not
Wow.
like a spearmint or like
Yeah.
a lot of like 95.5 rye. Like
Sure.
I get a lot of spearmint and minty on that.
There is an herbaliness to it, but it's not.
Yeah,
I don't go like pepperminty, minty anywhere in that range. It's more just like earthy.
Like almost like a green tea.
Sure,
But like to say bubblegum, that's interesting.
yeah.
I feel like the old Hubba Bubba and like the individual wrappers, like that white powdery.
Maybe after it
Maybe.
loses its
Yeah.
taste, it's
Yeah,
like,
like-
oh yeah, okay, this
Yeah.
is maybe what they're
Maybe.
referring to.
Maybe I can find that.
Yeah.
Or what was the one like the tape? Oh, not fruit by the foot.
Yeah. But
Bazooka.
no, those
Bubble
were the
tape. I think it was
bubble
called
tape.
bubble tape.
Yeah.
bubble tape,
Yeah.
zebra stripes.
Yo,
Those were gone.
You chew it twice.
in 3
it's like
seconds.
Huh.
Yep, 3
Well,
seconds. It's gone.
That's fun. Bazooka. Well, I have this shitty gum, but like at least I got a comic, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
Old baseball card bubble gum
Oh,
that like
oh.
it like breaks into a powder first, and then eventually you work it enough, and it like kind of becomes.
That was one of the strips, right? In the little bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it Big League
Oh
Chew?
yeah, the Big League
Chew.
Chew. Yeah.
Yeah, man, you were a real boy when you had that.
It
Big
was
League
like
Chew.
their take on trying to make like chew. It came in the same style bag, the shreds.
We literally just were talking about this right before you got here. Of like, I don't know why we were talking about
dip.
dip.
Oh, take a dip in the pool or something. What? I don't forget.
I don't know.
We're dipping in the pool. That's what it
But
was.
like,
I don't know, something
Nick's
stupid.
like, you ever try? Like, I was like, nah. I had Big League Chews. Basically the same concept.
Like the coolest kid in 3rd grade, you show up with the Big League Chew. You got the candy cigarettes in your back
Hell
pocket. You're
yeah.
like,
yeah.
yeah. No one's coming. No one's coming for me.
Yeah, no.
I play outfield.
You can't
Yeah.
touch me.
Yep.
Left field or right field? That's a big question. If it's left field, you're probably okay. But if you're in right field, it's because you suck. Sorry.
You're not the coach's kid?
Dave Justice. Yeah.
That's terrible.
Well, I mean, it's just the frequency of how often the ball's going.
No, I understand it, but like
Especially in Little League. Everybody's pulling.
I played right field.
Have you ever seen... There's actually... All right, so
I didn't.
the OG Ninja Turtle movie, the very first one that came out.
Yeah.
There was a commercial that played before the movie on the VHS that was right field, it's important, you got to know how to catch, you got to know how to throw. That's why it was a whole thing, and it was like making fun of like this kid that was like out there like picking daisies or something other than right field, and the ball, the game-winning drive gets hit to him, and he catches it and wins the game. Anyway.
I don't know if I'm proud of you or like
I just saw that like on Instagram
I know what
a
you're
couple of
talking
days
about.
ago,
I
and so
definitely know
like
what you're talking about.
I was like, oh man, like it unlocked like a core memory
Core
or
memory.
something.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, I remember watching that like a billion times.
That nostalgia hits you.
Yeah, just slaps you in the face.
this is fantastic. Not just saying that because you're in front of me.
Yeah. Once I leave, you guys can.
Oh no,
you guys
definitely
can-
we're gonna
yeah.
rip at this now.
Edit it. Yeah. Be like, all right. So we were saying that because he was here.
No way. So, but like, go through the process.
Yeah.
Like, how did this come about? Picking this barrel
with this one in particular, Pablo, who's one of the co-founders of Rare Character, was going to be in Tampa, and he was bringing samples for local establishments to potentially pick a barrel for their their spot. So Kenny's Liquor, shout out to them out in Fishhawk. They did one, or they did two. Corona over in Tampa. There's a couple others, but I went out there and...
So it was like a traveling pick?
Well, he was coming in town for a tasting event.
Okay.
And I knew I was going to the tasting event.
Right.
And I wanted a barrel, but this was early in the stages of kind of LWS and stuff like that. So I was trying to tell Grapevine, Al, who's the owner there, I was like, we really should do this. I think this would be a great pick to do together. They're really up and coming. At the time, they were kind of like getting right there to their stardom.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I was like, you just have to drive to Tampa to try it. He's like, I'm not sure, I'll try to make it. So I'm there, and he calls me and he says him and Trevor, his manager, are on the way. And I was ecstatic. I said, awesome. I've tried some already. I know a couple that I think we should do. And we had the thought of just doing one, and he ended up taking another one with him. He actually picked a bourbon that they did, and they sold there at Grapevine as well. So that was kind of how this one went down. I'd met Pablo previously at another event, and watching him speak about the passion for and love for his brand was kind of like resonated with me, because that's kind of how I felt about LWS at the time and how it was rising, and it was just something that I really enjoyed doing. So I think that kind of stuck with me, along with obviously some of the products they had were great. And yeah, long story short, that's kind of how it all went down.
That's cool.
But the other one, that was different. He came for a tasting event in Lakeland, and I said, hey, since you're coming, we're ready to do another one. So we actually ended up picking two with that one.
So is it like, you bring some samples down, try a bunch of different things, and like, yep, this is the one we like.
So yeah, I've had pretty much three different ways of how I've done barrel picks and picked them. So there's been kind of what we just talked about, either brand ambassadors or people from the distillery bring some samples that are available. We've also had them go through distribution, where they bring in stuff to us, or direct mail it straight to us. We've done that as well. And then we've been fortunate enough to have a couple times where we've actually got to go to their location and pick it straight from the barrel.
Cool.
Whiskey thieve it out, try it, and go through several different barrels before we find the one that we want to go with. So we've done that. And honestly, the three I brought for you guys today all have been different ways of how we've done it. So once we, visit those, we can go into a little more depth on that.
Yeah.
Like in my head, I'm remembering you telling us what's in this bottle, and it's blowing my mind of like where it's from.
Yeah.
I've never had anything from them taste like this. Like, this is so good.
Yeah.
This is great.
It's experimental rye is what it was termed as. So that kind of gives you,
right.
It kind of puts you in that direction of why it does taste different than maybe some of the things that, from where it's from,
right.
Why it tastes so different. And there was no Lincoln County process on that either.
Interesting.
So that's another thing.
Yeah. I know that our listeners outside of the U.S. and outside of our area in general, like, barrel picks are not as big of a thing, especially, those of you in the UK and in Ireland, where it's more the independent bottler. So what's the reason that someone will want to do a barrel pick? Like, why do that?
I think several different reasons. I don't run a store, so sometimes stores do it because obviously it's how they make their money,
right?
And bringing things that are individual to them. So we do it because, of course, number one and foremost, we love bourbon, we love whiskey, we love rye. So we have a passion for doing it, basically a hobby, and that's why we like to do it. I think, it's also cool that everybody in the group is supportive and is interested in trying things that we pick, and don't get me wrong, like, I'm no master palate. Like, I'm picking things that I like, but I also think the group would like.
Yeah.
And that's another thing you have to really put into perspective when you do barrel picks.
Right.
Because you can't go in there just thinking, oh, this is the best thing, this is what I want to do. Because you have to think about the 150 to 200 people that the bottles are going to yield, that they're going to like it too.
Right.
So we always try to put that in perspective. We never want to do anything that's just so out there and individualistic to myself or to anybody else on the admin team.
Right.
Because that's not what it's about. We want everybody to like it. And we've been, so far, from what it seems like, we've been successful with that.
I can definitely attest to that. Obviously, with this pick and others that we've had,
Yeah, for sure. But that's such an interesting take on like that side of it.
Yeah.
Like you can't really just try to pick for your palate. You need to be more broad thinking in terms of it. Like that. Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah. It's the one thing that, is always kind of goes in my head is this group isn't for me.
Right.
It's for everyone.
Right.
It's a community group. And, the term I know we talked about, the term that I consider myself as an admin. I'm not a president of this group.
Mm-hmm.
I was never elected.
Right.
And I'm honestly not the founder either, because it was founded in 2018 and by two guys, and I reached out to them right around 2021, I think, was when I kind of was like, hey, I can help out with this and I can help grow this group. At that time, it only had like 100 and something people, 120. And, I've grown it to now almost 1,800 people.
It was a hostile takeover. I can see it on his face.
No, it was very cordial. It was very cordial. And it was, they had kids that were getting to an age where it's tough for them to have that free time, and they were all about it. And I even ran our logo through them before we committed to the logo and trademarked it and everything. So,
wow.
But yeah, it's been quite a journey to see where it was and where it's at now. I started posting comments and liking things, and I get like 2 or 3 likes, and
Right.
eventually then other people started posting more things. It was a dead group.
Right.
It just, it looks like it started off pretty active and then it just kind of fizzled. And,
Yeah.
I get it. Life comes before anything else, and family as well. So
Totally.
Yeah. And I mean, like, anybody who knows starting anything from the ground up, like that's tough.
yeah,
And it's tough to grow something as you've done to a group that's almost 2,000 strong.
Yeah.
So, I mean, kudos, because I mean, we know that's not an
It's
easy
a journey.
It's correct. It's
Yeah.
not an easy pursuit.
Yeah, and it started to get a lot. So, I had a gentleman in the group, Kevin Aldis, who was very active, seemed like he wanted to be involved. So we linked up, and he's been a great admin as well, helping out when he can. And then, always, my wife has always been super supportive of anything I do. I love her. And it came to a point I was like, Miranda, you just want to be an admin too and help out. I mean, she does almost all the bookkeeping and
Right.
spreadsheets for when we have in posts for events or for a barrel pick or glassware, hats, shirts. She's been part of it all. So I wouldn't be able to do all this without her as well. So
Yeah.
together we kind of have a pretty good team and good thing going. And, we definitely have people that are interested in wanting to be admins as well, but we're not at a point yet where I think we need it. I think we still can handle it. And, I say it in a not a negative way, but there's a lot of hands in the pot when it comes to those kind of things.
Absolutely.
And I think right now what we have is good, and it's special and it's consistent. But I know that there will be a time where we can continue growing, and we're going to have to probably seek more help in that aspect. So
That's cool.
yeah,
I can't wait to see what's in store, because just what you've done in the last couple of years, and I know it's going to be even better as it grows bigger.
Yeah. It's good to be able to see growth.
yes,
That's nice.
Yeah, we have some things that we're working on. I don't want to really talk about it because until it's
He's a man of secrets, Kyle.
yeah.
Hey.
But I will
respect
tell you,
that.
we have that bottle share coming up, and I hope you
Yeah.
guys can make it. July 26th.
July 26th.
Whiskey Bent Barbecue, awesome partners of us. We've done a tasting event with them before in the
Yep.
past, but it's going to be awesome. We're going to have a hat bar there, so you can make your own LWS hat. We're going to obviously have food. It's Whiskey Bent, so we'll definitely have barbecue there. And I'm working on making mini Glens,
Ooh.
so that'll be included into the bottle share price for everything. And
Cool.
that way you don't have to bring your own Glens, and they're small enough where you can get to try a little bit of everything. So.
Awesome. All right. Should we move on to our second whiskey?
I'm for it.
Me too.
All right, you guys are ready.
Keep it moving. What's our next one, LJ?
We're going to jump into a heavy hitter,
Okay.
which is our Black Swan.
Ooh.
It's also from Rare Character. It's a KOA. So this thing is aged 9
campground?
years. I know, right? It comes to mind every
Koa?
time. I know. Every time I know some people. I have a buddy. His kid's name is Koa. It's like every time I see it, I always think of those. I never think of the actual bourbon. So distilled in Kentucky, aged in Kentucky, 75% corn, 21% rye, 4% malted barley mash bill. It was aged in Bardstown. This has got some heat.
Okay.
So, and that's obviously where we got the 138.60 proof.
Ooh. Ooh.
So this actually only yielded 132 bottles.
Wow.
So
Holy moly.
yeah, we sold 100. We had some for some special people. We held a couple other back for, and then we've had a couple that we used for charity raffles and stuff like that.
Wow.
Big flavor, robust,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Some people do add a drop of water into this. I know you
Okay.
guys are familiar with that.
Definitely.
And maple. I get a lot of like cinnamon sugar, brown sugar, and vanilla
Okay.
when I
Cool.
get this. I mean, it's been a little bit since I visited this one, so I think we should crack into it. And this one should pop
Okay.
the way you guys
Okay.
like it.
I don't know.
So-
My track record's not good, but we'll do it. Here we go.
There we go.
Oh yeah,
That'll do it.
that was much
Yeah.
better. Yeah.
We had our first rare character event. We had it at Cleveland Heights Golf Course, actually, surprisingly.
Oh, very cool.
So we had a banquet room there, and you got to see the glass windows over the golf course. It was kind of a cool vibe.
Yeah, totally.
And we had Pablo here in town, and it was Pablo said, what do you want me to talk about? You've been to some of my tasting events before, and I said, Pablo, listen, this is Lakeland. We're not Orlando, we're not Tampa, we're right in between. We've never had a co-founder of a brand come here and speak about their stuff. So I would say start from the beginning. Some of these people aren't super familiar with the brand.
Right.
I would say the first 30 minutes was talking about his history from where he started and where he's at now. And it was awesome because every single person in that room was focused on the speaker. And it was, you could drop a pin, and it was just so interesting to hear, where he's come and from where he's at now. So obviously we went to the tasting after that, and knowing he was going to be here, I said, hey man, I would really love to do a barrel pick, another one, maybe two if possible. I'd love to do one with one of our partners, one of our stores, and I'd like to do another one at a restaurant and have your product able to be served by the pour.
Right.
So sure enough, he had three actually, and we picked two of the three. That's kind of where we're at
The
now.
result of it, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
the other
so
one was
cool.
sold at Propagation Whiskey Bar and Kitchen in Plant
Yeah.
City, and he actually had to stop selling it by the pour because he didn't think he was going to have enough for the actual bottle release because it was
wow.
selling like wildfire.
Wow.
Well, first of all, like the color of this thing. I mean, not just in the. I think sometimes the bottle can be deceiving. You've got labels and all that kind of stuff, but just the color of this, it's rich. I mean, what color, Mr. Art Guy?
We're in that sienna realm.
Oh, okay. Ooh,
A little burnt
a
sienna.
little burnt sienna.
You kind of see the legs on the Glen itself.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Woo.
That that nose, man. See, this is where I get proof.
Yeah.
Like I think you're hit with this is proof.
So what's cool about this one, from what a lot of people in LWS and other people have tried it, and obviously you guys can be your own judge, but you smell the proof,
Yep.
you nose it, but you don't taste it.
Yeah.
It drinks below its proof. So I'm interested to see
Man,
if you
at
guys,
130.
because you guys have not had this one, correct?
No. Yeah, and I've noticed that like there are some just great whiskeys that the proof is either really present on the nose and then is muted on the palate, or is not present on the nose and you get to the palate and it's like, oh, there you are. I'm getting like peanut brittle, like deep toffee peanut brittle.
Yeah, I get a lot more like cask influence on this one.
Definitely.
Like much more like oaky nature. I feel like I can smell like a char a lot more.
Yeah.
A lot of proof. It's like
Like I believe you, LJ. I trust you.
Yeah.
But like, whew.
I know. Well,
And, you know,
once you guys let it hit, your tongue and your palate and everything, just let me know. I mean, if I could be wrong, everybody's palate's
Sure,
different.
Sure.
But that's the one thing that I get told a lot, and I feel I agree with.
like a roasted peanut. It's
Roasted
there.
peanut, yeah. And it's what's the you go to like a baseball game or something. Why does baseball keep coming up?
Cracker Jack?
Cracker Jack. Is that what you're gonna say?
Not Cracker Jacks. No, like like just roasted nuts. You're in that.
It's hot out. Yeah. Those aluminum chairs. Yeah, I got it, man.
Damn, I'm done. I'm not talking to you
Yeah,
anymore.
no, it's really pretty.
I'll talk to LJ. I'm not talking to you.
Whew.
All right, I'm going in.
Bottoms up.
Oh, you're totally right. It's still present. Like you still know that the proof is there, but it's not. I feel like on the nose it's formidable,
Sure.
but
Or
on the palate
you think it's going to be.
You think it's going to be? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. But on the palate, I mean, it's still present, but it's not. It's nowhere near what I expected.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I think that's everybody's always pretty surprised when they try it.
Yeah.
I think if you were to cover up the label and say guess the proof, I think I'd probably say 130. 132 maybe. I wouldn't have guessed 138. I mean, I know I'm a few off, but
Right.
that's one of the things that everybody always talks about is how it's somewhat of an easy drinker for 138 proof.
And for as much like cask influence I felt was on the nose, I don't feel like it's on the palate. It's way just sweeter.
Yeah.
I will say, yeah, like a little peanut buttery, but like also like kind of more like cake icing.
Yeah. Like a rich buttercream kind of cake icing? Is that what you mean?
Sure. Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. I don't know how you knew that.
Because I know what I see. What I mean is, it's not that like Duncan Hines shit.
Yeah, no,
It's like
nothing artificially,
legit. That
yeah.
come on, man. Like, what do you take me for?
A lot of powdered sugar, just those delicate sweets.
See, and where for me, I didn't get a lot of the vanilla caramel. I get it on the palate.
Yeah, a little creme brulee.
Creme brulee.
Yeah, creme brulee.
Yeah.
I think that's it right there.
And I think it's a product of the proof, but I really get a lot of that back end bitter, those oaky notes on the back end. It just like cling to the palate. That is fantastic. And what I really appreciate is that you have that roller coaster of a pour in the best way possible, where it's, you got proof, you've got sweet, you've got the complexity and the richness of the sweet, the depth there, and then it's accentuated by, oh yeah, and here's this nice butt padded
Of proof.
butt padded
Just
bitter.
slap you all the way down. that it is surprising that it drinks as smooth as it does. You would just think at that level, anything at that high would just almost be a struggle.
Oh yeah,
But like that's smooth.
like I don't want
Bad word.
God,
But that's
the S word.
can you classify a 138 as smooth?
Oh, yeah. I think about other things that are in that realm, and you're kind of into that hazmat bottles and some of the single barrel proof, and it just becomes, at some point, you're wrestling so much with proof, and you're wrestling so much with the volume of the whiskey that it's not enjoyable. But this is not like that at all.
Yeah.
The proof's there, and you can tamp it down if you want. You said add some water to it, but the pour is enjoyable throughout.
Yeah.
It's not something that I feel like, God, now I got to sit here and wrestle with this thing for another 20 minutes. Enjoyable.
Right. Yeah. Agreed.
This one was really cool. We sold 100 bottles. I think the first person in line was like 4:30 in the morning. 8 a.m. is when they opened that day. And we sold out by 11 a.m.
Wow.
So we had 70 people, I think, waiting 60 or 70 before we even opened the store.
Wow.
Man.
So, and it was one per person, and
Do the thing
Yeah.
if you're there, and wow.
so
Holy
that was a
moly.
special one. Those KOAs are, honestly, I'm very lucky. The KOAs, the TKOs are some of the strands, I guess you can call them, of rare character they've done. Some of their barrels have just been super sought after. I think there's been only 18 barrels of the KOA.
Wow.
Don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that is somewhat
Well,
accurate.
people will write in. They're going to say LJ doesn't know. It's 19.
Well,
I'm kidding. No, come on.
Say where they
LJ.
can
The
go.
Dreppinstone listeners, they're a bunch of great people. They're not going to do that.
yeah.
Except for that one guy. I'm looking at you, Dave.
This one came after
There's no Dave.
the TKO.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes. I think this was September of last year.
Yeah.
The TKO. Sorry.
I mean-
can't see the pink wax. I think was September of last year, and then this one was earlier this year.
Okay.
I believe.
And like you were saying about like the being able to come to Lakeland and talked about it, like I'm sure they made a lot of fans that day. Like that's
yeah.
a wise like strategy there
Oh yeah, for
to
sure.
be able to make like a connection directly with people. That's cool.
We're always interested in trying things that may be a little different than what you normally see on the shelf, because why not represent something that you believe in their values, and
Absolutely.
their product is good, and maybe they're just not as well as heard of.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a brand actually, Colorado. They're they got MGP that they have out there, and they're called Onyx and Amber.
Mhm.
They reached out to us through Instagram and really were interested in letting us try some of their products. And I'm not going to say no, of course not.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
And their stuff is great, but it's just they're smaller. No one's ever heard of them,
Right.
but their stuff is awesome. Really good. And it's just we'd love to do something with them in the future. Hopefully, we'll see where it goes. But it's crazy that there's literally so much out there that people don't know about.
Yeah.
But
Tons.
everybody starts somewhere.
Yep.
They all do.
There's such good stuff out there,
Mhm.
and just how do you get more eyeballs on it?
With anything craft, bespoke, whether it's a small brewery or a craft distillery, it all starts somewhere.
Yeah.
And if you would have said craft distillery 10 years ago, most people are going to go, no, like that, I don't want any of that. But I think that's developed so much, and you have great people who are, just this small distillery in, south of Nashville, Tennessee, and like they're making amazing stuff, or this little distillery in Colorado, and this place up here, this place over here, these kind of like little niche small companies, whether they're sourcing or whether they're distilling their own, that they're making amazing stuff, and they just don't have they don't have the ability to, fight with marketing. So when they can reach out to local whiskey societies, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Because it also, in terms of LWS, it also allows us to be able to look at stuff and go like this stuff over here is great.
Yeah.
And it's a different character. It has these notes that I really appreciate. The upside of all of that is to broadening the horizons of members, which is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. We always, when we know we're doing a barrel release of something, we always try to make sure to bring in other products from the same brand so people can try other things as well, and not just our barrel pick. Like when we did Starlight, we brought in some different Starlights. Rare Character, we brought in Fortuna. We always try to showcase other things as well so that everybody can try whatever they want. Same with the Fiddler. Recently we did a Fiddler tasting, and we brought some of their other products in so people could give it a whirl.
That's cool. So LJ, we talked about the LWS bringing people together. We talked about all that kind of stuff, but we're interested in too what LWS is doing in terms of charities, in terms of outreach, and in that kind of perspective.
Yeah, of course. So, aside from being an awesome community here with the Whiskey Society and stuff like that, we bring people together, enjoy good whiskey, but we have a lot of our future goals and being involved with the community of Lakeland.
Yeah.
So we've been able to contribute building 200 bikes for On Bikes, at an organization around Christmas time for children that were less fortunate. So we made 200 bikes for kids.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
We had about 30 of our members out there, and we were just a whole line of people, and it was just everybody. I put the brakes on, I put the pedals on, and boom, boom.
That's so cool.
Assembly line style. Additionally, we've also raised just under $2,500 for Lakeland Volunteers in Medicine, LVIM.
Yeah.
Which was supported during the Swan Derby, the 2025 Swan Derby. So we like being able to do stuff like that. And, LVIM is really cool because it's basically, and it's Lakeland-based. Volunteers in Medicine is exactly what it is. So you got dentists, medical professionals that are in there to help take care of people that maybe don't have the insurance needed for maybe a tooth removal, or they have a broken bone or something like that.
Right.
So, and it's not people that, they're actual workers.
Wow.
They're, maybe some blue collar workers that just don't have those benefits that others have. So for us to be able to support an organization like that is great. We want to continue doing that. And we also involve with Kids Pack. Kids Pack is a great organization, and something in the future is coming for us to do a volunteer event with them as well. Helping, provide meals for kids that are less fortunate and don't have the needs for that kind of stuff.
That's super cool. Like any time where you can take, something like this and be able to give back in any kind of way like that, like that's awesome. Again, another one of like the rare positives of of the internet.
Yeah, I mean, we figured we have all these people that
Right.
want to do things and be a part of something and volunteer and help. Why not reach out to these groups that are local and see what
Totally.
we can do to help them out?
Exactly.
That's awesome.
And I think too, the whiskey community as a whole, being whiskey nerds and wanting to engage in this, it's a natural so we can sit around and talk about whiskey, but so what do we do when we're not talking about whiskey? And why not, translate that into doing good for other people?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's super cool.
Yeah, it gives you that feel good feeling,
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Because you've already got the whiskey in you and you're already feeling good.
Exactly.
Let's do some good. Let's pass it on.
Exactly.
It's hard to think because that'll be next year around this time. I don't know what our group might be. Who knows?
Oh, yeah.
3-4 million.
Well,
Strong.
yeah. I don't know about all that.
Listen, you gotta
if
dream.
we give
You gotta
whiskey away for
dream.
free, I'm sure it'll grow pretty quickly.
Yeah, well, sure. I mean,
It's hard to think about what the future is going to be like. We definitely have tasting events planned. We want to definitely do something with the new establishment in Lakeland, the Dram House.
Yeah.
Kevin Patel has, and I think it'd be a great tasting event there. And cocktails are good. Their selection is great. So
Yeah, for sure.
I think that'd be a good spot to do something upcoming.
definitely.
So I have a couple things in mind. We actually might even branch out to Winter Haven too.
Cool.
I've been in touch with Zane, who helps run the Social, which is a new spot out there, and we were able to visit it a couple weekends ago. And you definitely could just my light bulb's going off in my head of what we can do there.
Ideas.
And have a tasting event as well. So I think expanding. I mean, we've already expanded to Plant City. We've done
Right.
stuff with propagation. So I think why not go Winter Haven and check it out there?
It's so cool. And I think that I jest of 3-4 million people. I think what we've noticed that how you've grown things is incrementally, and it's clearly like, let's get this group of people together and we're going to grow this naturally. We're going to grow this incrementally, and that creates a stronger group as a whole. And again, I keep singing your praises, but kudos to you guys for doing that.
It definitely is a part-time job. Sometimes feels like a full-time job.
Oh yeah.
We know that. We
can
know
relate,
that.
you know?
We get that.
But yeah, it's super cool, and we've had a lot of great feedback and a lot of great, interactions and activity. And I think, having that is what continues pushing us to keep moving forward and doing different cool things
Right.
that we can bring out to the community. So if it's a question for you guys, if there's one brand each that you guys would like to see, maybe something we could try to do in the future, and I'm talking bourbon whiskey with an EY,
Right.
rye, stuff like that, because I know before we started, we did talk about potentially doing our first Scotch tasting sometime this fall
for
into
sure.
winter, which I know that's like I'm looking at your collection in front of me. That is obviously your
That's just the
A
middle
big
shelf.
swath.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
We
Sorry to put you
also
on the
mentioned.
spot.
We also mentioned at the beginning. We're big Detling
Definitely.
homers.
Detling.
Seth's a great guy, and listening to him talk about whiskey and the production of whiskey, like that dude has a depth of knowledge that is impressive.
Yeah, and the fact that he's doing this in a farmhouse. I mean, he started like literally like, just in a small shed basically. And he's,
Or if I don't have that piece of equipment, this does essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
So just plug that in and let's run with it.
it's true like farm style mentality of like, yeah, that's not what that's for, but it is now.
But it'll do it.
Exactly. Yeah. I'd be super interested in that. And I know, as Kyle mentioned, you talked a little bit about the possibility of that and getting something with Seth going. Man, that would be amazing.
Well, they're definitely on our radar, and we're looking at early 2026.
Cool.
We might do a collab with a group based on the East Coast, Shelf Clear Society.
Cool.
They do great barrel picks as well, and I think it might be a collab pick that we do, and we plan on actually going and visiting Seth and then the farm up there and doing it in person. So,
Amazing.
I feel like, and don't get me wrong, picks that we've had sent to us or picks that we've, gotten through, mailed to us, they're great too, but just, it's so cool to experience the whole thing by going to the distillery or, wherever they're aging it at and getting to select it from trying different barrels right in
Heck
front of you.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's a total, I'm sure it's, not only is it hands-on, but you get to talk to the people who are making the stuff.
correct.
And that, I mean, just in the experiences that we've had, that changes your perspective, I think, for the better in a lot of ways.
I agree. You get a lot more appreciation for
Absolutely.
the product and how much time and effort.
Yeah, the work
Let's put
going
into
into it. Yeah,
Correct.
totally.
Correct.
I do have another one.
Yeah.
I don't know what your relationship is with Chattanooga,
Okay.
but I think in terms of their transparency, in terms of things that they're willing to do, that they're not in this realm of like, this is what we do. They're willing to experiment. That would be super interesting.
Okay.
I don't know what they, how they work with groups. I honestly haven't seen a whole lot of pick stuff from them. I know they do exist,
Interestingly enough.
but they've done some interesting things, some hits, some misses, but I think that would be really cool too.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I have a buddy. He's a big chatty boy.
Yeah.
We call him.
That's my nickname in college.
Chatty boy?
Yeah. I'll tell you guys that story off mic.
Yeah.
Just letting you know.
Sounds exciting.
Oh, you don't even know. Like, well, I'll have to edit all of it out. But anyway, sorry. Chatty boy.
Yeah. But, yeah, he's always been a big fan of Chattanooga whiskey. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I've only had one. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Yeah. And
no
the one I
kidding.
had was not my cup of tea, but
Totally get it.
once I
Didn't
tell
hit
you
your
why,
mouth.
you'll know. And it was because it was a Scotch finish.
Oh.
So you
I
guys
had that bottle.
You had that bottle.
I had that bottle. I
Yeah.
really liked that
See,
bottle.
Really
you
like that
guys
bottle.
enjoy Scotch.
Oh,
Yeah.
I really have. I've tried the finished
Sure.
things. I've tried straight up. I just can't do it, man. I try. Everybody tells me I need to have Signet.
Signet?
Is
The
that what you said?
Glenmorangie?
Yes.
The Signet? Yeah.
Oh,
Try
yeah.
that. They said
Yeah.
that'll change your life, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to buy one, but until someone offers me a little bit, I'll try it.
There's none on the shelf. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
no. But is that? would you- you guys-
We haven't had Signet.
I've had
I've seen
pour.
it a few times. Oh, have you?
Yeah, I have had a pour.
Yeah.
Is it as life changing as your?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, it's good.
They tell me
but-
stay away from peated. You know, try not to go into peated
Yeah, we
just
won't-
yet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because that is a little like the smoky,
Okay.
right? Or,
Yeah.
So when we're done recording,
Yeah, we can try something.
we'll
I
throw
won't say
something
no.
at
I
you.
won't say. I'm down to always try anything.
Nick, what's the Chattanooga that you had that was it aged in a?
There's a
peated
the
barrel?
the peated mash bill. Now it had the what's it? The
Oh, they
peated
had-
MB.
Yeah,
it
they
was
did
peated MB.
peated malted barley.
Yeah.
So I think the bottle that you had it was aged in a Scotch barrel.
Yes.
Okay.
And so it infused all the smoke and character of a Scotch. Like it was one of the weirdest things
Yeah.
I feel like I've ever had. But like we really enjoyed it. Nick's got one that was they took peated malted barley and added that in, and it's completely different.
Completely different.
It adds a touch of smoke, but like it's more, it has a completely different character to it than like the peated Scotch.
Mm-hmm.
That one was like
Yeah, the one that you're talking about.
Yeah.
it was smoky.
If you're not into
Yeah,
tried.
that
Yeah.
thing.
I did try.
if you've not graduated to the complexity of peat.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's true.
And I think that like that's a lot of turnoff for people, and we talk about this on the
Oh,
pod
yeah.
a lot of like, if I were to pour you that cast strength Lefroy, you'd be like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like that is bullshit.
Yeah,
It's too much.
Yeah.
I know exactly that. I know that bottle well. You had two, didn't you?
No, I every time I went back to get another one, I found something
That's
else
right.
Oh,
that
right.
I got instead.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure like there's still some bottles in Kissimmee at
Yeah.
a store. I've seen it at gas bars.
Oh, that's right.
Double
Yeah.
Bears. That's
Yeah.
where I grew up.
Yeah.
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 They're out there.
It's somewhat similar to the bourbon drinkers that are weird about rye for not having them.
Sure.
Absolutely.
And that's why the ASW Toasted, the Fiddler that we did, I thought was so flavorful that it kind of somewhat having that double barrel, the finish covers up a little bit of that strong rye flavor
Totally.
for people that maybe aren't super familiar with ryes.
Yeah.
And, I'm not going to lie, there's about people I can count on my hand that we're not rye drinkers, and I'm like, listen, just go up there and try it. It's $75 out the door.
Yeah.
It's a good purchase.
Right.
And I got one gentleman, he bought 3 of those bottles. He might have bought a fourth. He
Wow.
was not a rye guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Does not buy rye, does
Yeah.
not drink rye. So that's super cool because now we're expanding people
Yeah.
that may not be familiar with that, and that would love to be my goal with Scotch. And like I said, I tried, and we can try it again later.
Sure. This is what it's about. It's like finding things that like, okay, maybe I don't like medicinal peated Band-Aid, but I do like this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's interesting. So it's like figuring out what you do like and going from there.
Okay.
So we won't throw you into
Yeah.
peaty Band-Aid.
Yeah, don't put me on the mic trying it.
No,
I'm trying to
we
give.
won't.
Tastes like I licked the fire log.
Tastes like bullshit.
Yeah.
To be fair, like I was definitely there. Like,
Oh yeah. Early on, Nick couldn't. He hated Scotch.
Oh, so
Oh, my
you took you a little bit.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
it did. Like I like Scotch because I was always I liked Macallan, so I always liked Scotch. But there's something about Isla and then peated malts. I was just like, nope, tastes like licking a charcoal briquette.
Yeah.
And at some point there was something, I don't remember what it was. It was like, oh, that's it. And since then, I mean, I did. Carol and I did 3 days on Isla, and I'm just like,
Wow.
give me all of it.
So,
And then
you wouldn't say you forced yourself to like it, and now
No.
you're like, okay.
no. And
Have you ever done
that's-
that with anything before?
I unfortunately I have.
Me too. Cottage cheese.
What was it?
Cottage
Cottage
cheese.
cheese.
Oh,
I forced myself to like it, and now I
Right.
love it.
Now you
I
love it.
do. I do.
Yeah.
I'm like, it doesn't look.
I mean,
looks
I
like-
think it's the whole thing. Like your palate. What is it? Every 7 years,
Is
your
that
palate
true?
gets.
People say
I don't
that.
know.
I know. They say
But
the
like,
same thing about your hair. Your
Yeah.
hair changes every 7 years.
right. I just think it's one of those things of as long as you hit it at the right time in that kind of shift.
Yeah.
Oh no, I can find appreciation in this now, and then at some point that develops into a preference.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also like situational.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Oh,
if,
for sure.
If you're out camping with a bunch of friends and some dude's like, hey man, I brought this, you're like, and then you're like, oh wait, if all my friends like it, and maybe it is a bit of like forcing yourself to like
Yeah.
it, but if all my friends like it, or at least we're pretending to like it together.
Is that the only alcohol you have? Then I guess I have no choice.
Exactly.
We're gonna like it. Give me some more Malort. Let's go.
Have you had Malort?
I have.
Oh,
I have quite a few friends that live on it and love
you know,
it.
there's a barrel aged
Ugh.
version now.
Yep.
Oh my
It
god.
just released last week, 2 weeks
They
ago.
release special editions from Chicago. Like,
Yeah.
I know my buddy Cliff has got the Thanksgiving one.
Oh,
that's like like turkey brine malord or
Oh,
whatever
Oh
it is.
God, that's
Yeah.
disgusting.
People love it though, man.
I will die saying this. I will take Malort over that pickle whiskey shit. I'm not. That is.
Oh, the wicked pickle. I think I had that. They had that at Beer Bourbon Barbecue, didn't they? Have that there?
It was
Yeah, they
another
did.
version of
Oh,
that.
yeah,
it
it's like a
was
similar thing, but
Foul shit.
Yeah.
Pickle's big now. Pickle's
Pickle's big.
popular.
Pickle's big. A big deal.
Pickle margaritas,
Thank you. Appreciate
Good
that. Yeah, thanks.
picklebacks.
Oh yeah,
I love pickles.
Yeah, I
That
love
shit's
pickles, too, yeah.
disgusting to me. That's just me.
Interesting.
you've gone through quite a bit of it.
No,
hate it so
I've-
much.
I've fucked with a bunch of people is what I've done.
How was
I'm
the candy corn? I remember you guys did an episode of that.
It's exactly like you think it would be.
Yeah.
It is.
It's like vanilla whiskey.
I love how you have them front and center on your shelf though. Like you got to show off the candy corn and the wicked pickle.
Oh
Yeah. He's trying to like get rid of.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's
So
like
people see it when they come in here.
it's
they're
like no, it's like
oh, I'll try something. You're like, yeah, and you just keep pouring until they say stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's like what you
Nice.
just did, like candy corn.
Yeah.
That's
Oh yeah,
literally-
let me open that up for you.
Yeah, you like sweet shit, huh?
There is
Yeah,
something
here
I
we
do
go.
see that I want to try that I've never had before.
What's that?
That's the discontinued Basil Hayden Caribbean rum. I like rum finish.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I've had quite a few rum finish. And it's like candy.
So I sought that out when they released it.
Oh wow.
Got it in Texas.
Mhm.
Brought it home. Super stoked to try it. And I was like, huh. Okay.
It's hard with 80 proof.
It's hard.
Have you guys ever done like, let's taste a bunch of stuff and then let's do the podcast and see how that goes? Or is there could be probably a lot of editing?
We were saying earlier we do 2 episodes.
Oh yeah.
Second episode's always better
Always.
Oh.
Always.
because we're already
So you guys have another
we're
one
already
after this?
lubed up.
No,
you
we've
know?
already done one.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But we to be
It
fair,
didn't count.
we did I like to mess with Kyle every once in a while. So
Mhm.
he's not a big seltzer fan and I'm not either, but I just like to
You guys did
torture.
seltzers.
Yeah, we
huh?
weren't
So
even
it's-
seltzers.
they-
They were like
they were like-
canned cocktail.
They were gross. It
Garbage.
was like John Daly canned cocktails and they were
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
they were nasty. Nasty.
Have you guys done the Sunny D?
Disgusting.
We've
We
done an
did
episode with
Sunny
Sunny
D.
D.
Sunny D wasn't bad.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not,
no,
it's
they were
not terrible.
palatable.
Yeah.
There's some high noons that are not bad.
Yeah.
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
But there's just something about like that. So did we do an episode? No.
It's like
we did an episode, but
I get really excited to come over here and we're gonna do whiskey, and we're gonna have a good conversation about something. And he'll pull out fucking what? Don't do this to me, man. Like let's.
I will say those are popular episodes though.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
bet.
they really
I
are. It's
bet.
like Nick torturing Kyle.
Because there's a lot of those on the
Cool.
market, just like there's a lot of liquor, and it's
Yeah.
like people
Oh, yeah.
don't know because some of them distinctly taste like Robitussin,
Yep.
and some of them don't. So
Yep.
people love to hear about the thoughts on those and which ones are the ones they want to take to the tailgate of the concert.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
So,
Right.
All right, LJ, as we start to wrap things up, we teased at the beginning of the episode, we've got another bottle.
We do. This bottle's exciting, and there's just enough left in here, I think, for the 3 of us. So, Starlight Distillery bourbon whiskey finished in blueberry port barrels. The first blueberry port finished from Starlight released in the state of Florida. And this was cool because Kevin and I, the gentleman I mentioned earlier, we got to travel up. We flew into Louisville. They're located in Borden, Indiana. It's about 30 minutes outside Louisville.
Yep.
And we got to visit the farm. We got to see everything. They distill everything in-house.
Oh, very cool.
Andrew is in charge of the single barrel program there, and we pretty much he gave us the greatest introduction there when we were there, and we got to go out to the rick houses, and man, we got to whiskey thief straight out of I would say
awesome.
probably
Nice.
20 barrels.
The VIP experience.
And yeah, it was super cool. So we definitely tried this one, and we actually tried other people's barrels of like some names that you've definitely heard of, like Rock Elite. We got to try Fred Minnick's barrel that was sitting
Wow.
there,
Hmm.
and we tried this one, and we were like, wow, this is really unique. This is really different. Blueberries, like there's blueberry fields all in
Oh
Florida.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
And he told us that he had a rye honey that someone backed out on. And they do somewhat of a tier system of, the more barrel picks you get, we kind of open up different things. They have a cigar batch that people seek out. It's actually Amberana.
Oh.
Very delicious.
Hmm.
Super good. So we tried the rye honey. We're like, man, this is really good. We tried the Blue Report. I'm like, man, this is really good. This is where we started narrowing it down. And we're like, they're like looking at us, and like me and Kevin were saying basically, just give us like a couple of minutes, like let us talk amongst ourselves,
Yeah.
Right.
because this is like we don't know, we don't want to like make a decision right away.
Right.
So we talked about it, and we we knew that the honey cask is really popular at
Sure.
that time. It's still popular. Short
Oh,
barrel
yeah.
is a great honey cask. There's plenty of other people out there that are doing them, and we'd never seen anything like this. And we thought it was really unique, really different. And then I know it's kind of hard to see. There's not much left, but when we saw the color straight from the barrel.
Yeah, wow.
I mean, it looked like it was just blueberry juice. So came down to a no-brainer. We decided to pick this. Super happy with it. Lindsay Aldis, which is Kevin's wife, actually did the ode to the Southgate Shopping Center here in Lakeland, and kind
Very
of
cool.
gave it our own little, hand-painted, artwork here.
Yeah,
so,
that's cool.
Yeah, so it's age 6 years and then 3 to 6 months in a blueberry port.
Interesting.
Yeah, very, very interesting.
That's unique.
Super
Blueberry
different.
port.
So I think this will have the best pop for
Okay.
your
Well,
microphone.
I'm gonna let you do
Yeah,
it.
let me do it.
Yeah, I feel like
Okay.
that's how we need to end this.
Okay. This only comes in 109 proof, but I think it's, kind of like a desserty kind of pour.
Yeah,
so
totally.
why not?
It's a good
End with
cap
it.
off.
And with that, yeah.
There it
Oh.
is. Yep.
See, I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew the Starlight one's good. I know this one. And you can't see because we took it off, but we actually, Kevin and I took all 180 bottles of this, stickered them ourselves, and then we wrapped them in a foil, heat gunned them, and we put a little white swan hot glue on the top.
Super
cool.
cool.
So it was like the Lakeland bottle.
That's cool.
When did y'all have this one?
This one was last year. We picked it last March.
Okay.
We actually flew in on Bottled and Bond Day.
Oh, no kidding.
So we got to go to Heaven Hill, and
Yeah.
they had all their Bottled and Bond stuff out on display
Right.
and letting people try it. So the next day is when we went. It was a Monday. Went to Starlight. And I'll tell you what, if there's ever a place that someone asks you, any place that's like super good to go pick, Starlight's awesome.
That's cool.
Cool.
They feed you, they take care of you because they want
Wow.
you to be able to be out there and pick what you think is best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they take you out on like a 4-bar, side by side and drive you around, and you get to see
That's so
everything.
cool.
It's super cool. They grow their fruit. There. They have a farmer's market.
Wow.
They do apple brandy. They do wines. It's an awesome experience.
Very
If
cool.
you guys ever get up there, let me know. I'll get you in touch with them.
Put
Oh,
that
that's
on
beautiful.
the to-do list.
Yeah,
for sure. But yeah, so I think without further ado,
Yeah.
Do the thing.
Totally.
it's time to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
That's a bottle kill right there, guys.
There it is.
Nice. Well done.
Beautiful.
For this one, I will say cheers. Having me here and letting talk about one of my favorite things with you guys.
Absolutely. Thank you. Go back to the color. Like, look at that.
Yeah.
That's dark.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And I feel like it's lightened over time, to be honest with you.
Interesting. Yeah.
The OGs, I felt like when they were sitting on the shelf, they were so dark. I used to intern with Pepin Distributing in Tampa,
Mhm.
which is Anheuser-Busch products.
Right.
And one of the things they taught me there was the life of beers on the glass. So the darker glass beers last longer when light and sun hits it.
Mhm.
Right.
Then the green, like, Rolling Rock. And then the clear ones, like the Coronas and stuff, the more the light that gets to them, it kind of affects
Absolutely.
the
yeah.
product itself. And I know, you're a beer guy, so maybe that's why it's like
it
that
could,
now.
yeah.
I don't know.
I'm a little suspect of the oxygenation of it. How long
Oh,
does that
yeah.
take to affect? People are like, "Oh, you got to kill that bottle. It's been open." So
yeah, I hear that too.
I'm always like, okay, your science, okay, but I do think that does have some sort of bearance on it. Where you keep it on your shelf, does that get any light? I'm sure that changes things definitely.
Yeah.
And also, I think glass has a huge part in it as well. If you got something that's in like the heavy high West glass, like that's going to be different than something that's in, basically a wine glass.
So they say, like you mentioned before, like if you have something like I had obviously a minimal amount, this is enough, probably 6 ounces maybe, if that. The less amount you get in a larger bottle, you should transfer it to a smaller one.
Yeah.
Because of the oxygen.
Yeah.
I have that spray. I always forget the name of it. I have it. It's used in wine and stuff like that to try to keep the bottles and the bourbon and whiskey, whatever, fresh. But it's when I have a lot, and then you have a lot too,
Yeah.
and it's when you have like 300 plus bottles, I can't maintain all of them. I used to dunk them so the corks wouldn't go bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to do that.
It's hard.
It's hard. It's hard.
It's hard to be like, hey, what are you doing tonight? My wife's asking me, oh, you want to watch TV? No, I'm dunking all the bottles tonight.
Yeah. You got to give me a half hour.
Yeah. I'd rather just take a rotten cork at that point.
Exactly.
That, and to me, like we've talked about it, like I think there's something fun too about the changing of a bottle. Of like, even if you opened that one, and even if it was amazing, if it was, you're probably going to go through it quicker anyway. But even the ones that you open, like, you know what, that didn't hit right on my palate, and just letting that one exist for a while, and you
Yep.
come back to it every couple of months, and like, nah, it's still not there. But then all of a sudden, like after a year, you'll come back to it, and you know what? I kind of like that now.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know if that's something in the bottle that's changing, that now the flavor profile on that hits right for me, or if it is something like that where either I've changed and my palate's different, or that something literally actually has oxygenation or whatever has altered the liquid itself,
Yeah.
and now it's hitting my palate right. I think that's kind of fun.
It is fun.
What's also fun,
Man, that was a good segue.
this nose.
Yeah, it's really complex sweet.
Yeah.
Like I expected it to be sweet anyway, being this kind of blueberry note, but the sweetness on the nose is not just here it is. There are multiple levels to it.
LJ, did we have a mash bill on this one? I'm just curious. Like, to me, I feel like I'm picking up on more rye and maybe malted barley.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it anywhere. I'm looking for it.
Originally, I was thinking a lot of barley on it, but now I'm kind of wondering if it's a wheated.
No, I agree with you. I think that I would be shocked if there's not higher MB. You think you're saying there is more?
I may be saying MB or maybe wheated.
But is it that just super sweet wine?
No,
because you got a fortified wine anyway.
For sure, but that's not where I'm leaning.
Okay,
That's there, and that's definitely present.
LJ, I'm gonna ask you: do you get a lot of port wine influence on the nose here?
To me, though, I don't. No.
Yeah,
I mean, I've had several like tawny port finishes, and yeah, I don't really get a wine or a port to this.
Yeah, I think for me and just my palate, I do get that more on Scotch, but I think the nature of bourbon, whenever you're, if it's a Madeira aged, an Oloroso age, or any sort of wine age, it's never on the nose, but it is present on the palate for me.
Speaking of the palate,
yeah, that is dessert.
Yeah, that's like a blueberry crumble.
But it's subtle blueberry for me.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not blueberry cobbler. It's like there's some notes there, like just dark fruit, really nice depth to the sweet, but it's not like blueberry.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not like a pie.
Yeah.
Like full on like fake blueberry.
No. What's that? That blueberry that blueberry goop you get in the can when you make like a blueberry cobbler from the can.
Compote.
Gloop.
Yeah, and it's like it's not really jammy.
No, exactly.
We thought it was different when we picked it. It's hard to explain, kind of like how you guys are saying. It's you're thinking when you're going to hit it, because blueberries obviously it's such a unique thing to think of. You don't really get true blueberry though. I don't even know if we're getting the antioxidants of a blueberry either.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't go that way.
Yeah,
It's still healthy though. I just want to
for sure.
Yeah.
It's organic.
But I see the thought process.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is like when you eat something that's blueberry flavored, it doesn't taste like an actual blueberry does.
It's true.
So when you have, just being here in Florida and surrounded by blueberries, as you mentioned, when you have just great fresh blueberries, it's not that blueberry flavored.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's
Blue flavored. It's not blue flavored.
Yeah, tastes like a Smurf.
Yeah.
I knew that's what they tasted like. But
They're doing just crushing Smurfs and
crushing Smurfs. But you know what I mean? It's that like it's not the thing that you're saying, because we all have that in our mind of like
Correct.
that's what a blueberry is.
Correct.
But it is this rich dark fruit note. But it is delightfully sweet. And normally, full disclosure, I'm like adverse to just heavy sweet.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a sweet that I think the proof helps. Did we say what the proof was?
Yeah, 109.
109. So I think the proof helps. But also it's not just like saccharine sweet. It's this really, poured over some ice cream, just, maybe even into like, I think you could pour it into a coffee and just like that little bit of sweet hint note, man.
We thought it was a great pour, from the barrel.
Yeah.
And we had hopes that when we received, bottled and sent to the store, that it would be the same. And we were really fortunate. This bottle sold out in 24 hours.
Yeah.
180 bottles.
Wow.
And there was no tasting event. There was no, come to the tasting event, you get the bottle included. This was all 180 pure sold at the store at Southside.
Wow.
And I think, it being so unique stood out. It being a bourbon also intrigued, wasn't a rye. And the ode to Lakeland on it, I think, was also the big, it's almost like a commemorative bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
It's the whole package.
This is our first pick that we've actually done at a distillery.
Yeah.
Or on location and brought back, and we were able to bring it with us. So it's a little sentimental to us.
Yeah, and I think it's a testament to your journey, just you personally, of this is how you've not only built this group up over the last couple of years, but now as your palate has changed and your palate's getting more like here are the things that I like, and I know other people, as you mentioned, other people will like these as well, and I'm picking not only for myself but for the group and for people to like that. And that's so cool.
Yeah, for sure. It's probably the best part.
Yeah, and this is like hitting right in that cool spot too of like it's not classic bourbon. It's existing. It's like pushing the limits of what it can be, and that's delightful.
There was one really bad part about this though, and I had full disclosure: it's empty. My glass is empty. The bottle's empty.
Yeah,
filled that bottle.
You guys really took that one down. And everybody, like we talked about kind of before we started, you like to build up and prove.
Yeah.
We did the opposite.
Yeah.
I think this is a good like ending. I
Agreed.
think it settles well. And even what we had earlier, it was higher proof, but it wasn't difficult.
And this holds up to it.
Yeah.
Like it still has plenty of flavor. You're not underwhelmed by taking a step back. Where I feel like a lot of times that can be the case, but like this has enough unique flavors that are not your quintessential bourbon notes that it still has enough to make it stand out and can follow a 138.
Yeah, fantastic call on your part.
Yeah, very impressive actually.
It's very impressive.
You've had the Fiddler.
Yep.
You've had these 3 today.
I feel like you're about to ask a really like tough question.
But everybody's different, and I'm not asking you to pick a favorite kid or a favorite pet. It's a pour that might change over time,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So some other barrel picks that we've done that I didn't bring today. We did a Russell's Reserve.
Yep.
It was a Camp Nelson pick. That was a collab with Grapevine. We did our Blue Note, which was our first pick.
Yep.
That was really cool because it was what they like to call a storm survivor.
Oh, right.
So, the rick house collapsed for Blue Note, and that barrel was exposed to all different elements, different climates.
Right.
So that was a special one. That was like 117 proof, but man, that packed a punch.
Yeah. Was that the one that had the sticker on the back?
It did. It had the.
Yep.
That's the one.
That's the one I had.
You had.
You had that one before? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, with the Rockin' Swan.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
So what was cool about that was we got to keep the barrel.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
We took the barrel to our friends at Lugo's.
Oh,
so
Christian
aged some whiskey.
That's right. I remember you saying that.
Yeah. We had a rum that was bourbon barrel aged, and it is so different and so unique. When people come over that tell me they're rum drinkers, I always say, "Hey, try this. I want you to see what you think about
Right.
this."
Yeah.
So that was really cool, and then we have our upcoming one, which is Subtle Spirits. So that's going to be a 10-year, 11-month.
When's that release?
So it's been kind of pre-sold.
Okay.
It should release hopefully in July. We're waiting to hear back, and then it's cool because that is a MGP bourbon that was aged at Castle and Key.
Oh.
So, kind of different.
Cool.
Taking the Indiana and putting it in Kentucky.
Right.
But we were really happy with that one as well. And then a couple other things we're working on. I don't want to talk about it because nothing is set.
Again, a man of secrets.
Well, you don't
That's
want
okay.
anybody's
You need
hopes
a little
up.
mystery.
And once
that's it.
Once
mystery.
that thing, once the samples are in hand and you have the commitment, that's when you can talk about it. But until then, you never know. You
That's
you
true. You
never
don't want to
know.
overstep.
Exactly.
For
so
sure.
we've been very fortunate with all the picks we've had. Looping back.
And,
don't forget. I don't forget my question I asked you guys.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, we forgot. Do you have an answer? Oh, what was the question? Did you ask the question?
Your favorite of the four.
Favorite
Yeah.
of these
You guys-
four.
You guys had it toasted a few weeks ago, right?
Yep.
And then you tried these 3 tonight. And it's okay. Like I said, you could retry these literally 4 again, like 2 weeks from now.
And it's good. I mean, we could try tomorrow. We could try in 20 minutes. We're
Yeah.
not going to, but
Yeah.
we could.
Genuinely, I think for me, it's the TKO.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the Fiddlers.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, it's the Fiddlers, and I think it's first of all the color of that thing is
Yeah.
just incredible. But
Darkness.
it's that toasted note.
Yeah.
for me that like I love that rye, heavy rye toasted note there that's coming out of that.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That one. The rye on that one speaks
Yeah.
so strongly, which is
MGP.
delightful.
MGP.
MGP rye.
For me, the TKO, I think I just really appreciate the balance on that one.
Yeah, agreed.
The rye comes down, I think, just a hair.
Yeah.
But just delightful.
If you had to twist my arm, I'm gonna go Fiddlers.
Yep.
Yep.
And you see, you're hearing this on the podcast. Rise. They're
Yeah.
in.
They're in.
Rise are in right now.
Yeah, we've
Don't sleep on Rise.
we've always been big rye.
Yeah. You could make some arguments that is the true American spirit, is the rye whiskey. I know that I just pissed off a bunch of people, and you can come find me. It's okay. I'm formidable, I think.
If you guys want to hit me up, DM me. I actually have the address. If you do want to visit him.
We're here right now.
Whoa.
Can
Just
confirm.
kidding. They're going to
Can
give me some more
confirm.
liquor. We're just kidding.
What did you think that's how it was going to shake down, or you had like?
I thought one of you guys would pick the Fiddler
Yeah.
because after listening to your
Yeah.
talk about it, like you seem to
It's
enjoy
fantastic.
it.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Honestly, I didn't know. I thought maybe someone else would have picked the Starlight.
Yeah,
Only reason is because we ended with it. So it's the most
sure.
recent, but obviously you guys held on to what that was a few weeks
That's
ago,
the
and then this was the first. TK was the first, so it stood its ground. So cool.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We're gonna make you pick between your kids. Which one's
I
your
already
favorite
know.
pour?
I already know.
What is it?
It's a TKO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I literally had this conversation with my wife the other day. I said, if someone came in and said, listen, I'm taking all the bourbon and whiskey and rye you have in your house and I'm replacing it with nothing but the TKO of this one that you picked, that's all you can drink for the rest of your life, I think I would be okay with it.
Yeah.
At first, I'd probably be in shock, but then
But you know
I'd
what?
be like, I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
I think I can do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's definitely my favorite of all time. They all have stories to them. I told you a couple of them, but that one hits. I think the Fiddler is not far behind. I think you guys are on the right track. You guys have some good taste. I can tell you that.
Thank you.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And LJ, we appreciate you taking the time to come out and hang out with us and sip some amazing whiskey.
Of course. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And
long overdue.
Oh,
Glad
for
we
sure.
finally did it.
Yes.
For
Yeah.
sure.
And hopefully it's the first of many more to come, and the first of not the first of a partnership, because we've hung out digitally.
Yeah. Sure.
But
Sure.
the first of many great things to come.
Yeah.
in the
Well, I
future.
mean, we should do a little possible spoiler of maybe doing a pick together.
Hey.
Definitely.
I think we can make that happen.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Indeed.
It's all
Everything
about
about
being
it.
selective, though. We want to be selective.
Yes.
I know a
So-
guy who can be
But
selective.
thoughtful. But
Mindful.
thoughtful and mindful.
Yeah.
Not
so
demure, though.
Yep.
we can do it. And there's three of us. That's a good number.
That's a good number.
Yeah.
Having odd numbers
Consensus,
are always
yeah.
odd numbers are always the best when you're doing
Yeah.
a pick.
Yeah.
So
You've got a deciding vote.
I feel like that's a thing. And now that it's out there for several 100 million people access to. I don't know if they're going to listen to it.
Yeah,
Several hundred
access to.
million people have access to it.
Everybody.
Now we're going to hold you to it.
So I'm not going to wake up tomorrow and have a bunch of text messages and phone calls like, I heard you were on the podcast.
Just from my mom.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I can sign something for her, whatever she needs. Sure.
Your mom and Dave.
Start practicing my autograph right now.
Well, we'd love to know, first of all, are you an LWS member?
Yeah, and if you're not, get on it.
Yeah. Why don't you reach out? If you're not in the greater Lakeland area, reach out and just say hi to everybody, because we'll say hi back.
Yeah, we're still friendly folk.
Most days. All days.
We definitely have people that don't live in Lakeland that are in the group,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Welcome anybody.
There you go.
As long as you're not a bot, we'll let you in.
There you go.
Trust me.
Well, you can get in touch with us through email. It's drepandstone@gmail.com. You can also get in touch with us through social media.
It's always one word, Drep and Stone, DREP and Stone. Come find us, like a thing, share a thing, comment on a thing, and we'll get right back to all your things.
Absolutely. And do yourself a favor. If you're in the Lakeland area, go grab one of these Lakeland whiskey picks if they're still available, because they go quick. But if you can find it,
Day or less.
if you can find it, grab one. And if you can't find it on a shelf, again, just reach out. We can see what we can do.
Yeah.
Can't promise anything. We can see what we can do.
You never know.
And we'd love if you support the podcast. You can do so through Patreon. That's patreon.com/drepandstone. Helps keeps the lights on, the recording machine recording, and more importantly, the AC running. Because,
Always important.
exactly. And swamp ass season is upon us.
We're fully in it. Waist deep.
Ugh. Moist. Gross. You can also support the podcast by rating Drep and Stone wherever it is you find great podcasts like this one. And finally, Kyle.
Yes, sir.
And LJ. You can support the
He's still here.
He's still here.
I'm here.
You can support the podcast by telling someone about Drep and Stone. Your favorite Lakeland Whiskey Society admin,
Yeah.
or one of your favorites, because there's several, is
I think my wife is everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
They'll tell you that all the time.
That's a good call.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's a good
makes
call.
sense. Yeah. Your second favorite LWS admin is on the Drep and Stone podcast, and you want to hear him talk about Lakeland Whiskey Society.
Yeah, feel honored. We usually don't make people sit through this part.
Yeah, for sure.
I am honored.
We do it later.
You guys are holding,
You were holding
liquor,
you hostage.
Yeah, I'm ready to try those back to back to see the difference there.
On that note,
On that note,
Kyle,
yes, sir.
LJ,
Yes.
may your glass overflow.
And your ass never show. Hey, cheers, buddies.
Cheers.
Cheers.